Welcome back, On Guard Army. Today I thought it would be a fun idea to go back to a good old-fashioned deck profile video. So I have Iron Valiant proxied up here. Iron Valiant is a new card with the ability Tachyon Bits, which allows you to, once during your turn, if it goes from the bench to the active position, puts 2 damage counters, or 20 damage, wherever on the board you want. So you could put it on their active or one of their bench. The idea behind this is that you want to pivot around between Valiants to spread a bunch of damage to modify and fix math throughout the course of the game. And it also has a solid attack for 2 Psychic and 1 Colorless Energy that does 200 damage, and then during the next turn this Pokemon can't attack. Which is fine, because we want to be bouncing between other things anyway, and going back to the bench removes that effect. So, to start with this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Iron Valiants, which we are going to put up here. It also has 220 HP and is a future Pokemon, a new Paradox Pokemon from this upcoming set, Paradox Rift. We also have 3 Zatus. This Zatu has the ability Clairvoyant Sense, which allows us to attach a basic psychic energy from our hand to one of our bench Pokemon, and then draw 2 cards. This is the same ability as Shadow Rider VMAX, which let you do this, put it to a bench and draw 2 cards, but it was on a 3-prizer that shut off by Path, so this is a 1-prize draw engine, which I very much enjoy for this deck. We also have 3 Natu to evolve from. Past that, we have Manaphy to block incoming damage that might be coming to try and snipe some of our Natus. We have Squawkabilly for early draw, so we can get as much damage on the field as possible as early as possible. Even turn 1 going first, we can spread damage. It's possible to, if your opponent doesn't play down any other basics, if they play just a Comfey and don't bench anything else, you could win the game on turn 1 going first, which I kind of like just because it kind of forces people to bench more than one thing, which changes the way that a lot of people play their decks right now. Then we also have Medicham V. Medicham V has Yoga Loop, which for 2 energy lets you place 2 damage counters wherever you want. If it takes a KO, you take an additional turn, which is insane. So you can spread damage around, Yoga Loop, take an additional turn. You could even do this on turn 1 going second. If you manage to Yoga Loop something, you can immediately evolve up your Natus into Zatu, accelerate to your Iron Valiant, and then swing with Iron Valiant. An insane combination that you could potentially get with this particular combo. We also have 4 Research. These allow us to discard our hand and draw 7. Very good consistency card. It lets us see a lot of cards. We can see energies, we can see switching effects. That's the main things you want to see. We have 3 Boss's Orders, 3 different Arts of Hollow boss orders. We want this to be able to pull up targets to be able to KO them. This is especially important to have 3 of, specifically for the Mew matchup. You could go down to 2 if you wanted to play some sort of tech for Mew, such as Drapion. If I were to play Drapion, I would be cutting down Boss's Orders to 2. We also have 2 Iono. This is for a little bit of disruption, but it can also be early game draw, which leaves us with basically 6 draw support cards. Then we also have Clara, which lets us get back 2 Pokemon and 2 energy cards. This can get us 2 Psychics that we can immediately accelerate with Zatu. It can grab us back any of our Valiants, could grab us back a Zatu that we discarded earlier, or in the late game, if you want to set up for the right time to use Yoga Loop, if your Medicham is in your discard, you can immediately get back Medicham and double Psychic, accelerate 1, attach it, and then Yoga Loop. Basically an auto combo into that. It's also nice for getting back Manaphy if your opponent wants to boss and KO it to try and get access to sniping your bench. Then we have the 4 Battle VIP Pass. We want to get down as many Valiants as early as possible. The more we have down early, the more damage we can get out early. Then we have 4 Ultra Balls. This is search for any one of our cards. It's mainly going to be used to try and find our Zatus, though. Then we have 3 Fog Crystals, which can either be an energy search for one of our Psychic energies, or just a search for one of our basic Psychic Pokemon. After that, we have 3 Switch Cart. We can switch our basics. The only thing it can't switch is our Zatus, which is also why we play 3 regular switches, which is also for pivoting. We want to be able to spread as much damage as possible. And 2 Escape Row, which is good for phasing and also another switching effect. In addition to this, I also want to mention, because I forgot to mention it earlier, Squawkabilly has the attack Motivate, which does 20 damage and accelerates 2 basic energy cards from the discard to one of your bench Pokemon. This actually can be a very good going second attack, because if they have a 1 prizer in the active, like a Comfey, you could spread 60 with 3 different Valiants, then Motivate to set up a Valiant, knocking out the Comfey in the process. It's nice for setup and potentially taking a prize card on turn 1. Then we have the new Future Booster Energy. This gives the future Pokemon it's attached to free retreat, so it would give Iron Valiant free retreat instead of the 2 retreat cost it has, and makes their attacks do 20 more damage. So their attack would deal 220 damage, in addition to how much damage they already spread to the Pokemon that they are attacking. Then we also have a Forest Seal Stone, in order to basically attach it to Medicham in order to search for the Rapid Strike or Double Turbo Energy, depending on which you want to play. I'm playing Rapid Strike Energy in this build just because it allows us to use Smash Uppercut, so if we can't establish enough Natus, but we want to be able to Yoga Loop on turn 1 and then swing with the Medicham so we're not wasting too many cards, it could be nice for taking a 1 prize knockout and then taking a second 1 prize knockout. So that's the main reason I am running Rapid Strike Energy instead of Double Turbo here. We also have 3 town stores. These are to tutor out our Future Booster Energy Capsules and our 1 Forest Seal Stone. Very important. It's also a nice path bump. You could cut down one of these to be like a Temple of Sinnoh or a Lost City. I have definitely been mulling those over. If I were playing a different variant like the build with Typhlosion, Hisuian Typhlosion V-Star with the attack, the V-Star power that just knocks out something that has 40 damage on it, or 4 damage counters on it, I would be running the Temple of Sinnoh to shut off opposing Mew VMAX's Fusion Strike energies so I can actually place the damage on them with Valiant, but for now I'm running the 3-town store because it's just more consistent on finding our tools. Then we have 3, 6, 9 Psychic Energy. Very good for being able to set up our Valiants. We can set up 3 full Valiants throughout a game with this, not even including the Clara to get them back. We have 2 Jet Energies for more switching effects, that is also an attachment. Since Iron Valiant has 1 colorless in their attack, this works out very well on the Valiant. Being able to just accelerate 2 and then Jet Energy to bounce it up to the active and swing, very good. And then, as said before, we have the Rapid Strike Energy to use Yoga Loop in a single turn without even needing Zatus, as well as being the energy requirement needed for the Fighting Energy for their second attack, Smash Uppercut. So, this is our list. I very much enjoy it. There are definitely some choices you could make differently. If I were not playing the Medicham package and was just focusing entirely on Iron Valiant, I would probably cut the Forest Seal Stone for the new Devolution TM, and I would probably cut the Clara for a Super Rod. Those are considerations to be made. There's also the Typhlosion, as I mentioned earlier. It's nice to just have something that blows something up for 1 energy. Paired with Thornton, you could burst that into play at any time, but this is the build that I am showcasing today. So, I hope you enjoyed this deck. I think it's going to be a ton of fun going into the Paradox Rift format, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your night, and I will catch you all later. Have a good night.